When I look at C, it seems like they're asking for the possible value of R. So they're asking for the range of R. If they ask for the range of R is just a probability value for a specific value, right? So whether it's Q or R, in this problem, they're all values between 0 and 1. Since R is a probability, it should be =0 and =1. To start, let's discuss the range of RR is a probability value, so it ranges from 0 to 1. Therefore, we need to determine the range of Q based on this. Following the same approach, Q should also range from 0 to 1. However, it's not just about the range from 0 to 1. We are also involved in another equation, the sum of all probability values, which is currently equal to 1. So, we need to consider one more equation, 3Q plus R equals 1. Well, now that we know the range of R here, let's change this to R. So R becomes 13Q. 13Q is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. This is also something we need to consider now. So we know the range of R and we need to use this. Hence, it came out like this. Now, if I change 3Q plus R to R equals 2, the equation will be modified. For R from 0 to 1, now it's this. So it goes from 0 to 1. Why do we do it like this? Subtracting 1 and starting from 0, when divided by, it's 0 to 1/3. When I try to find the range of Q, it's 0 to 1/3. I just solved this equation like this, so this is correct and this is also correct. The range that satisfies both conditions is probably this. We write this as the answer. Now this is the second problem in C. So let us calculate the potential range of the expected value of y. We simply need to perform the addition operation in the prescribed manner. Is that correct? If we try it when we find 2 circumflex y, we multiply and add it so it becomes q plus 2q plus 3q, which is 6q plus 4r. 2 circumflex y is 6q plus 4r. Let's start by changing the variables to 1. We know the range of q, right? Unify it as q. How can we do that? We can change r to q. So we're going to do it like this. Substitute 13q here, so 6q plus 4 equals 13q. So what is this now? 46q. We just need to find the range of 46q, and we already know the range of q, so we can figure it out using this. First, multiply -6 by -6, but since the direction of the inequality changes when multiplying -6, write it in reverse. Then add 4, and you'll get from 2 to 4, 6, which means the expected value of y is sich2 and sich4. So far, we have A, B, C, D. Let's solve the last problem. To summarize, we have 2 dice, one called A and the other called B, but they are different. Each dice has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 written on them, and both of them have some weird probabilities. It's not 1/4, it's weird. We just scored a goal, P got it. I know everything here, but I still don't know Q and R. I don't know Q and I don't know R either, but once either Q or R is decided, we can figure out the rest, you know? So I see that there's A and B down there, and these two played a game with dice. So it looks like Amy's threw dice A and Barbara threw B once each. So there's a 50-50 chance that Anis's score will be lower than Barbara's. Find the y of 2. Rolling 2 dice. A and B dice have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to find probability of A's lower score. After informing us of the odds, he stated we should take action. So we just saw it earlier. P, you know, Q and R unaware, you know. Naturally, I'll inquire about this. In the given problem, they omitted Q and R, but instructed us to determine QR while providing the probability. Oh, what a problem. If we find Q and R, then we can easily find EY, you know. Since EY is your friend, you can get this. As soon as you find Q or R, you can find Q if you want. You're welcome. Let's use this probability to find Q. Let's substitute that found Q here. Is it okay up to here? So now we're going to calculate the probability. We're going to roll 2 dice, and apparently there's a 1 in a million chance that A's number will be smaller than B's. So what do you think we should do? There is a dice A and a dice B. When A is less than 1, the possible outcomes are A equals sign 1, B equals sign 2, or B equals sign 3, or B equals sign 4. If A is 2, then B should be 3 or 4. If A is 3, then B should be 4. The dice A and B have different possible outcomes depending on the value of A. There are 3 main cases where it's a big deal if A is 4. Let's calculate the probability for each case. The probability of A being 1 is P now. Since P is 7, 2, I'll use 7, 2 instead. If we consider the probability of this case, it's P, 7, 2, multiplied by the probability of B being 2, 3, or 4. How much is the probability of B being 2, 3, or 4? We just need to add them, right? EQ plus R. I'll write as EQ plus R. If A is 1, then B is... So it means that either 2, 3, or 4 should come out, so I'll write it as EQ plus R later. Of course, I'll unify it into one character. For now, I'll write it like this. Similarly, the probability of A being 2 this time is 2 out of 7, just like P, so at that time, B should be either 3 or 4. So if A is 2, then B would be either 3 or 4. You must obtain a 3 or 4. The sum of Q and R has a probability of obtaining a 3 or 4. Additionally, when A obtains a 3, the probability of A obtaining a 3 is 7 out of 2. At this moment, A obtained a 3. So if we multiply 7 halves by R and add them together, we can calculate the probability of my score being lower than B's score in all cases. So when we add these 3 together, in the state where we combine them with 7, 2 and perform addition, it becomes 2Q. Adding Q, we get 3Q. Adding R, R, and R, we get 3R. What are the odds now? I heard it's 2 for 1. I think I got this. Right? I think we're done. Why? We had a ceremony earlier. You can modify R to Q. Oh my goodness. If you insert this into here, it is 7 halves multiplied by 3Q plus 3 minus 3Q. Now that this is 1 half, we can find Q here. So now, to find 2 circumflex y, where do we put the obtained Q? If you plug it in here, this becomes 2 circumflex y, you know? I think I can calculate 2 circumflex y.